If you're flying in India right now, let's take a moment of silence, a prayer, a hope, a wish, anything. Because your flight may or may not take off. It may be delayed, it may be cancelled. And even if you do take off, you have no idea when you will land. And your luggage, well, it may not reach the destination, because right now, air travel in India is like a casino. You walk in, you place your bet, and the house always wins. But why has it come to this? What is causing this national airport meltdown? The answer, or at least a big part of it, can be summed up in one name: Indigo. It's an aviation giant in India, and it is in turbulence. Some of its flights have been delayed by 8, 10, even 12 hours. Others never took off. In the last 48 hours, nearly 300 flights have been cancelled, 300 cancellations. Passengers were stranded on airports. You can see the pictures on your screens. It looks like there's a sudden sale announcement at the airport. The passengers were obviously frustrated. Many spent the night at the airport. It was utter chaos. But what led to this? Indigo has blamed it on almost everything. They're calling it a multitude of unforeseen challenges. Minor tech glitches, winter schedule adjustments, bad weather, airport congestion, and most importantly, the new rules for pilots. These are FDTL rules, Flight Duty Time Limitation Rules, FDTL. These rules are meant to make flying safer, but they seem to have grounded India's largest airline. Let me explain how. Think of the FDTL rules as a sleep schedule for pilots. Now they're supposed to sleep longer because India's aviation regulator has changed the rules. That's the DGCA, the Directorate General of Civil Aviation. It's the national watchdog. It has made some key changes. Weekly rest has been increased from 36 hours to 48 hours for a pilot. A pilot must be off work for at least 48 hours in a week. Night hours have been extended by 60 minutes. Night landings have been capped at 2 per week. Earlier there were 6. 6 were allowed. And pilot duty hours have been cut significantly. Basically, more rest and less flying for the pilots. And this has been done in the interest of safety. It sounds like a fair move, unless you're an airline running with a lean workforce and high overnight operations. Then these rules become a problem for you. And Indigo has been the worst hit. 3 reasons why they're the worst hit. First is their scale. Indigo runs more than 2,200 flights in a day. Air India runs around half that number. So even a 10% cancellation for Indigo would mean 220 flights cancelled. When Indigo sneezes, the entire aviation industry catches a cold. That is reason number 1. Reason 2, strategy. Indigo is the king of red-eye flights, late-night, high-frequency operations. The goal is to squeeze every last rupee of each aircraft. But the new rules do not allow that. Reason 3, staffing. Pilot associations say Indigo knew about this, but they did nothing. They froze hiring, they underestimated the impact, they maintained lean staffing, did not prep for the new rules, and even cut pilot leave quotas. The result is this wide disruption that we see. Indigo is known for its punctuality, but on Wednesday, its on-time performance dropped to 19.7%. At one point, only 1 in 5 flights took off on time. So what is India's aviation regulator doing about it? How are they going to fix this? Well, they summoned Indigo today. They asked the airline to submit a mitigation plan. And where does that leave the passengers? Because they are not exactly spoiled for choice. The Indian skies are ruled by 2 airlines, Indigo and Air India. Between them, they control over 85% of the air traffic. It's a classic duopoly, and that means when one airline collapses, the entire system collapses. Passengers have nowhere else to go. Fares of other carriers shoot up. The fact is, Air India cannot absorb the spillover because of its own fleet issues. Smaller players cannot scale overnight. So when the biggest pillar falls, the whole system crumbles. Indigo says it needs 48 hours to stabilize. The airline is cutting schedules, cancelling flights proactively, reworking crew rosters, adjusting night operations, and trying to rebuild buffer positions. Airports will remain messy for another couple of days. So what should you do as a passenger? Well, first of all, keep checking your flight status. Arrive early because the queues are long. Carry snacks, medication, and chargers. Pick refundable tickets. Avoid tight connections. Monitor Indigo's social handles and obviously prepare for delays. And I hope the policymakers are watching this. Because this is not just about one airline having a bad week. This is a wake-up call for India's aviation system. The industry has grown fast, but infrastructure, workforce and regulation have not kept pace. So maybe this chaos is a sign that India's skies need more capacity, more competition and more preparedness.